Now we have our second speaker for today, our Dr. Bodhendranath Dubeji. He was born and brought up in Guyana. Following his pre-education, he was admitted in University of West Indies as a medical student. Then he went to London for doing his FCRA, and after that he migrated to Canada. When he arrived in Canada, he realized the needs of the Hindu community and to build up a temple over there. From being a family of Hindu priests, he grew up in an environment that was involved in helping the less fortunate and also in building and running up temples in Guyana. And through his leadership, he helped many groups dedicated to serving the South Asian community of the Greater Toronto area and its neighborhood. Dr. Dube is a heart surgeon, leader, visionary, mentor, teacher, and philanthropist. He provides spiritual guidance to the people of East Indian descent across Canada, and having built the iconic Hindu temple at the entrance of Richmond Hill, Dr. Dube has also been responsible for creating one of a kind Canadian Museum of Indian Civilization and other regional work. Dr. Dube has been awarded with many distinguished awards like Order of Ontario, Queen's Golden Jubilee Medal, Citizen of Ontario Medal, Guyana Award for Leadership, and Lifetime Outstanding Achievement for Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce. Dr. Dube is the founding chairman of the Federation of Hindu Temples of Canada and the Canadian Council of Hindus. With his many achievements and endeavors, he has continued to inspire Hindu community to achieve their highest potential in the personal and professional life. Welcome, Dr. Dube, to our this week-long programs. He is going to speak on Swami Vivekananda and universe. Dr. Dube.
Thank you. I would like to start by saying a few things about myself and where I came from. And I am from Guyana, as you mentioned. I was born in a home of a Purohit who has never seen India, and because of that, I was trained to do Purohit work when I was 11 years old. We were from a gaon sort of thing, like a village. And then I pursued my education, and as you said, went to the University of West Indies and then to England for further studies. But what I had that burning desire was to spread the word of Hinduism when I was in Guyana and even when I went abroad. So when I came to Canada, there were no built Hindu temples. I'm just saying this before I talk about how Swami Vivekananda influenced my approach while I came to this new land in North America. And I used to have little television programs about Guyana about Hinduism, and I used to get, and people used to listen to me. Now, as a surgeon, I used to go and operate and go into the surgeon's lounge. I was the only Indian, and as a matter of fact, the only Hindu who was a surgeon at the McMaster University, and there were lots of other surgeons, and they would come, white people of course, and they would come and they would start to make a little joke about me, that here, Dr. Dube is coming here, let's bring in a cow. So I said to them, listen to me, and what our forefathers studied thousands of years ago, astronomy, physics, calculus, mathematics, the exploration of the cosmos, while they were doing that thousands of years ago, your forefathers were running in the forests of England, chasing animals, etc., with spears. So don't talk about Hinduism. And I got this from Swami Vivekananda, who said that you must have a purpose. And when you have a purpose, focus on your purpose. His word was focus and be sure of who you are. And you are the sons of the rishis, and the blood of the rishis run within your veins. So no one should talk down to you. So then he said to me, "Oh, I hear that you all live in trees." I said, "Yes, we live in trees, but we go up in the trees with an elevator." He then understood. I don't know if he understood what I was saying, but he stopped. I am a vegetarian, and there were a lot of Indians from India who were not vegetarians, and they were said to me, "Why are you a vegetarian?" And I said, "I live what the Swami Vivekananda teaches, which says ahimsa paramo dharma. You must not injure, and it means not only injure man, but injure animals, injure the environment." The most important thing that what Swami Vivekananda I got from him, and I would like the youths of the West or wherever is listening to this broadcast, is the spread of the word of universal acceptance and tolerance. And because of this universal acceptance and tolerance in our temple today, it is the only institution in the world that has the icons of all major religions. We have icons of Christianity like Jesus. We have the Star of David for Jews. We have the moon and the other star for Islam. We have all these, which is telling people that all religions must be treated equally. No one is greater than the other. Where did I get this from? I get this from Swami Vivekananda. And one of his most famous sayings when he came to Chicago was this very beautiful shloka, Akasha patitam toyam yatha gachatim sagaram sarvadeva namaskaram keshavam pratigachati, which for those who don't understand, it means as the rain falls upon the roofs of the houses, it goes on into little rivulets, it then goes into streams, it goes into small rivers, and then the huge rivers, and then to the ocean. Similarly, the religions of this world go from, doesn't matter which one you belong to, it eventually merge with the world, which teaches me that when people are talking bad about Hinduism or whatever religion they are, I just sit back, and as he said, he taught universal tolerance. And that tolerance means you can try to tell someone to change their thinking, or not only change their thinking, show them what you think is right. And if they accept it, that's fine. If they don't accept it, you just move along. Because of his teaching of focusing, because of his teaching of accepting everyone, we were able to build a temple. At that time, there were no temples built. We had lots of opposition, but his teaching was that you must concentrate on the work at hand, and then when you are in the work at hand, you go ahead and you do it with all your strength, do it with all your might, do it with everything that you have. So coming from Guyana, where I've never seen India at that time, I've seen it since then, and I came to Canada, I used these teachings to show that let us have that brotherhood. You know, what impressed me most about Swami Vivekananda, when he stood up, and this is famous all over the world, but I just want to remind people again, when he stood up to talk to the Parliament of Religions, how did he address them? Brothers and sisters of America. 5,000 people were present in the audience. They all got up and gave him a standing ovation, because at that time people used to say what? Ladies and gentlemen, but what he said? He said, brothers and sisters of America. This teaching of love, this teaching of tolerance, this teaching of faith. And you know, someone asked him that when you pray, what do you ask for? What do you gain by prayer? He said, I don't gain anything by prayer. I lose. What do I lose? I lose hatred. I lose jealousy. I lose anger. I lose that discrimination. I lose all these things. These are some of these indelible sayings of Swami Vivekananda, which resonates within the minds of people. And I just making a reminder that people should remember these thoughts, these sayings, and make this world a better place. And he has said, if bigotry, if jealousy, and if hatred can be removed from this world, in other words, if this world can be a peaceful place, then this earth, which has been drenched by the blood of human beings for centuries, not only centuries, for thousands of years, would not have happened. This world would have been a peaceful place, because if we can forget our bigotry, if we can forget our hatred, if we can forget our own, when we want things only for ourselves, it's about selfishness. That's what I want. When we can forget our own selfishness, then this world will be a much better place. You know, talking about you and my what I have or what you have or what the other one have, Swami Vivekananda gave a very beautiful anecdote, which I would like to share this morning. He said there was a frog which was in a well, and I'm sure the story everyone knows and has heard about it, but I think it's very appropriate to let us understand how we must see others in their boundaries, see them in their way. This frog in this well used to jump from one end of the well to the other end of the well, and he thought this well was the biggest place there is, until a frog from the ocean fell into the well. And when the frog from the ocean fell into the well, this frog in the well said, "Is the place where you live is as big as this?" And he jumped from one end of the well to the other end of the well. And as you can imagine, the frog in the ocean said, "Friend, come with me, and I will show you what my home is like." So when we are cloistered in our little cocoon, when we are cloistered in our little home or our little village or our little temple, and we feel this is be all and end all of life, it is not. We must allow others to see. We must try to see what others are thinking. And when we can do that, then we can have that harmony in life. I would like to go on further, but I don't know if the time permits. But if not, I would just like to say again that Swami Vivekananda has taught us, and this influence of Swami Vivekananda is in Guyana. Guyana is in South America. Many people, half of Guyanese are Hindus, and they have never seen India. But what they have read, what they have heard, Swami Vivekananda talking about the greatness of Hinduism, the greatness of the rishis. The rishis were scientists. The greatness of mantras, where the mantras come from, how they got the mantras, and he talked about meditation and yoga, which is the previous speaker spoke about. Meditation and yoga is one of the things today. You know, we come to Canada, you know who teaches yoga? A white person. A white person come, he can't even say Om properly. He teaches us yoga. Our own people have to usually, mostly, go to a white person. We must be proud of our dharma. And this is what Swami Vivekananda taught us. Proud of dharma, proud of our culture, proud of our heritage, and walk forth. Arise and awake and walk towards the goal. The goal must be there. You must never say you cannot make it. And you know what? He taught one very great thing, which I will say and then I will leave. He says, you can never stop aspiring. You must always aspire until the life comes out of your body. The minute you stop aspiring for greater heights, then it is as much as death. So I would like to conclude by thanking the people of Jawaharlal Nehru University. I would like to thank my friend Naresh Kumar, who has made this beautiful statue in Jawaharlal University. And Naresh has made a beautiful statue of Hanumanji over 50 feet at our temple. And you can come and see it. And we have the Wall of Peace. The Wall of Peace was influenced by me. Wall of Peace means all the different religions are there. And that Swami Vivekananda's teachings influenced me that we should do this for peace. As a matter of fact, The Wall of Peace started after 9/11 in America. You remember 9/11 with the destruction of the Twin Towers? Then that gave me that impetus. That gave me that energy that we must try to get people together. Again, Naresh Kumar, I would like to thank him. I would like to thank the Jawaharlal University. And I would like to thank all the listeners. And I hope I have not spoken too much. If there are any questions, I will take them. Thank you. I can't hear you. I can't hear.
Okay.
Madhav sir, please unmute yourself. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It was indeed very inspiring to listen your stories and how you have managed and influenced so many peoples, and you are burning the lamp of Hinduism far away from India. We feel proud, we feel connected when you were speaking. We were really emotionally getting connected with you. We are really proud of you, and we wish that you visit India. Your physical interaction would be more inspiring for us.
I would like to say, we have a museum, and this is the only museum in North America called Canadian Museum of Hindu Civilization.
Yes, sir.
I would like Jawaharlal University to help me to make it a better place, a much more dynamic, interactive museum. If you can help in any way, Naresh Kumar can help me, and we can make this a beautiful piece where people can learn about it. Not only Hindus. As a matter of fact, 95% of Hindus don't know what Hinduism is. If they can come and learn about Hinduism, and the world can come and see that Hinduism is a place where the Parsis were tolerated, the Jews were tolerated, Islam was tolerated, so many places, Christianity. It is one of the greatest philosophies of this world, and we should try. If you all can help me, I'll be very, very happy.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks. Yeah.